a potential presidential candidate and someone who could very well be the next president of the United States.
Apologies for being just a little bit late. We ran into a headwind coming out of Madison. I noticed you all have been seeing some of the stuff on the news the last few days about what was going on in Madison, how the unions are trying to intimidate their state legislature. They're trying to intimidate their governor because the Governor Scott Walker is showing leadership. They don't like leadership, and so I decided to go through there and offer a few encouraging words of inspiration to say, patriots will not be intimidated. No, Louisiana. No. Because that's all the liberals have, is intimidation. And trying to basically get people to not stand up for what they believe in. That's what gave rise to the Tea Party movement. I get questions all the time from reporters doing a lot of interviews. Well, do you think the Tea Party movement is dying out? I say, have you been living in a cave? The Tea Party movement is getting bigger, broader, and in my neighborhood when I was growing up, better. Yes, it is. But you know, the good news is some of the liberals, they still don't have a clue. Some of them still don't have a clue. That is perfectly all right. So I want to commend you for being here today. I want to congratulate your organizers for putting this together, and thank Jeff for his role in this event today. And I'm thrilled that we were able to do this, to be here with you. Because I wanted to be here to remind you that the American dream is under attack. But the good news is we can take it back because we're fighting. Because we're fighting back, and that's why the liberals, the only weapon that they have, the only tactic they have is to try and intimidate you and me and people all over this country. And you see, I call this movement going on across the country the spirit of America, the real spirit of America. All the way back to the founding fathers when they said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They didn't say anything about a guarantee. It said pursuit of happiness. And the last time I checked, there wasn't in Washington, D.C. a Department of Happiness, like some people think. Government can't make people happy. But unfortunately, a lot of people have drunk the Kool-Aid, thinking that the government is the answer to all of their problems. No. The founding fathers knew that. That's why they penned that great document, the Declaration of Independence. And unlike our current president and others, I do not believe it needs to be rewritten, or I do not believe that you need to leave out endowed by their creator. No. Leave it the way it is. When I first heard the president do a speech, and when he got to endowed by our creator, and he skipped that, I said, well, maybe his teleprompter malfunctioned. But when he did it 2 more times, I said, that was no accident. That was no accident. And then when I saw a news clip of a representative, a member of the House of Representatives, from Minnesota by the name of Representative Betty McCullough lead the House of Representatives in the Pledge of Allegiance. And when she got to the part, one nation, she skipped on the God. She skipped over on the God. And the first time I started to get really concerned about where this administration was trying to position this nation was when our president in his first year was traveling abroad on foreign soil and had the nerve to say that we were not a Christian nation. I got news for you, Mr. President. We are a Judeo-Christian nation, and we're going to keep it that way. We are going to keep it that way. That's what's going on across this country. And when the Tea Party first got going, I've been speaking at Tea Party for 2 years now. Love it. Love it. Remember when we first started out? They wanted to call us crazy. You know, I told a couple of groups, I said, yeah, let them call us crazy. We're crazy about the Declaration, and we're crazy about the Constitution, and we're crazy about the greatest country in the world, and we're crazy about liberty and freedom. That's what we're crazy about. That's why you got me today. One of the things that has inspired me and so many other people is if you read the Declaration of Independence and you get to the part that says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I had a caller to my radio show call and say, Mr. Cain, I said, I'm frustrated. I don't like what's going on. Welcome to the club, dude. But I don't know what to do. Well, are you registered to vote? Yes. Are you, do you vote regularly? Yes. Do you vote the right way? Yes, I think so. She said, but I feel like I need to do more. I said, do you remember the Declaration of Independence? You know that part that everybody remembers, life, living, the pursuit of happiness? He said, yes. I said, go get a copy of the Declaration of Independence. And don't stop there, keep reading. See, that's the second best part, which says that when any form of government becomes destructive of those ideals, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. We've got to alter the occupant of the White House. We've got to alter it and some abolishing to do. That's why you're doing that. That's why I'm doing it. We've got some altering and abolishing to do, and it's already started. It started before November 2nd, but November 2nd was when our energy and determination really showed up. When I woke up on the morning of November the 3rd, I breathed a cautious sigh of relief. I said cautious because I knew that still meant that we had a lot of work to do, that it wasn't over, and that they were going to continue to try and intimidate us, scare us off, depress us, discourage us. That hasn't happened, and I don't believe that it is going to happen. Here are three things that we need to do that I hope you will remember as we continue this journey to take back our government. First, stay informed. Stay informed. Stupid people are ruining America. And when we were at that demonstration in Madison today, you know, we saw signs that illustrated that they had drunk the Kool-Aid about what was going on. You know, accusing Governor Walker of union busting and wanted to eliminate collective bargaining rights. You know, Governor Walker said this when he was running, and he still got elected. He said to the people of Wisconsin, "We are broke." What part of broke don't you understand? But they still want to insist on unreasonable demands in terms of benefits and retirement for the government workers. Still want to insist upon it. This is why states like New York, California, Michigan, and others are in trouble today. Because nobody stood up and said enough is enough. We can't continue to pay out what we do not have. And I reminded them today that, you know what? Today you might be broke. You have a governor that's trying to keep you from becoming dead broke. I said, do you all know what the difference is between broke and dead broke? When you broke, you can at least borrow some money from a friend. But when you're dead broke, nobody wants to talk to you. And that's where you all are headed. That's where this nation is headed. America's already broke. But somebody needs to take away the credit card from the president and the Congress before we become dead broke and nobody will buy our debt. We got to stay informed. That was a liberal TV commentator who said, Wisconsin doesn't have a budget deficit. See, this is the kind of garbage that they put out there to make people think everything is okay. You don't have a problem. Yes, they do have a big problem. So we have to stay informed. Know what's going on. That's why you come to meetings like this. That's why you talk to one another. That's why you email one another. That's why you go to the correct sites to get accurate information about what's going on. So stay informed. One of the most dangerous things that they ever did was put me on the radio full time. They messed up. Because that forced me to have to stay on top of all of the issues. So I kept my listeners informed every night, 5 nights a week, 3 hours a night. And when health care reform was coming down the track, I kept explaining to people, no, that wasn't a misspoken word, health care reform. Because see, when you reform something, it's supposed to get better. Has it gotten any better yet? No, and it's getting worse. Health care reform. You know, cap and trade and tax and kill, and how they rushed that through, and all of the other stuff that they were bringing down the track. So it forced me to stay on top of all of these issues, to understand them, to be able to explain them to my listeners and other folks. And that's when I realized that one of the main weapons of the left is that 50% of the American people, they make this assumption, haven't a clue as to what's going on. 50% of them are just swept up in the president's ability to give a beautiful, articulate, sounding speech, sound presidential, and read from a teleprompter. When I was at CPAC last week, and I was interviewed by a number of reporters, and they would come in and, Mr. Cain, and they asked me all of the usual questions. They'd say, what are you going to talk about at CPAC tonight? I said, I'm going to encourage the people to stay informed, and I've got a couple of other points. And then when they get ready to leave, they would say, well, can we have a copy of your remarks, the speech that you're going to give today? I said, if you can scrape it out of my heart and my head. When you have it in your heart and your head, folks, you don't need a script. You don't need it. So stay informed. Number 2, stay involved. I love it that you're here today. That is great involvement. Stay involved. Get involved with your local precincts as we start the whole process. Not federal elections, but for the local elections. We've got crooks at every level of government. Every level of government. So you need to stay involved, be involved, and everybody do what you can do. Not everybody can, aspire to be governor, aspire to run for president, but whatever you can do, stay involved. I've met a number of people. In fact, one of my biggest supporters so far in my exploratory committee is a gentleman that lives up in Wisconsin. He was sharing with me today that, 3 years ago, before we went through the meltdown and before we went into this economic downspin, he had a company that had 550 employees. Today, he has a company of 55 employees. He said he had never been involved in a rally, giving money to candidates, supporting organizations before then. And when he stopped, stepped back and looked at what was happening, and the fact that this nation was on the wrong track, he said, I had to get off the sofa and get involved, like many of you. And you see, folks, that's what's going to save this country, the involvement of people who may have been passive in the past, but they're not passive now. And then the third thing that I want you to do is to stay inspired. Stay inspired. You see, the liberals didn't think we were going to show up at the polls on November the 2nd. They didn't think that you were going to get behind candidates that you wanted, not the candidates that somebody else wanted you to back. You made your own decision about the candidates. And as a result of that, 87 brand new members of Congress showed up for swearing in, and 47 of them had never held public office before. Hip, hip, hooray! Never been there before. And they got there because, first of all, they believed that they could. Secondly, they worked hard. Thirdly, you believed in them. The liberals love to tell me, Mr. Cain, you are in your exploratory phase. Now, let me explain that first, folks. I have to say I'm in my exploratory phase for legal, technical reasons, because there are 15 million people unemployed in America, and as soon as I become a declared candidate, you'd have 15,001 people unemployed because of the McCain-Feingold laws, okay? So that's why I'm not trying to be coy. Wink, wink. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't prematurely have to give up my employment. So they'll ask me, and they'll say, well, you are a long shot candidate. I said, yes. I said, but if I continue to get the kind of support that I'm getting, you're going to see this long shot become a short shot. Stay tuned. The other thing they like to bring up is, but you've never held public office. In that pompous, politically elite attitude, but you've never held public office. And I say, that's true. Most of the people in Washington, D.C. that we elected have